In video number 5, we're going to be looking at setting up uh, of assessments and other graded items in our coursework and demonstrate how that flows to our gradebook. So let's click on the coursework, and when we go there we see our various units that we've set up. For this course I am going to be setting up uh, exams in the exam and quiz folder. So let me start with that. So let me add the first exam. And in this course, the final exam will actually be an online exam that is administered uh, for Microsoft through a vendor called Certiport. Uh, so the uh, exam results will be communicated to me from the outside vendor. So I'm going to select the basic format. And the basic format can be used for any type of exam. You don't necessarily have to exam through the LMS to set up the course here, the coursework assignment that will flow to the gradebook. Um, we believe it's important for students to know where they stand in every course, and we believe that the gradebook is the way to do that. So in the future, we will be requiring uh, the setup of a gradebook uh, once people become more familiar with the LMS. And as you'll see right here, it's very, very simple to do. So let me click on the basic format here, and I'll explain these others as we go along. All right, so this exam is entitled the Microsoft Office Specialist, or MOS, Certification Exam. I'm going to put it in that unit, Exam and Quizzes. It's required, and based on my course plan, the final exam will be given on September 18th. So I'll set the due date of September 18th, and the exam say will close at 9 p.m. And I want to show this date on the course calendar. Uh, I can show this to the students now. None of the questions are there. And I could have set it for later with a date to be determined, or I could have opened it on a specific date. When we get to the video that deals with setting up online testing, I'll be inputting a quiz, and that quiz will open on a specific date and close on a specific due date. Next, we need to decide the amount of points. Again, that's going to tie into your syllabus. In this course, the certification exam is going to count for 50%. I do it on a point basis, so of 1,000 for the total course. So this will have a point value of 500. I'm going to allow the students to see that date once the grading has been done and the due date has passed. And if you want, you can show the class average to all the students. I like to do that. They like to see where they fit in. Uh, if I wanted to, I could add instructions here as we go on. I may come in and put a PDF that was put together by the testing folks, so the students before the exam have some idea. But I can add that in later. And now I'm simply going to click Save Your New Assignment. So as you can see, the first assessment has been added. Next, I'm going to add another examination, and this is a little test, what I'm calling a mini test. And in for that exam, the students will uh, download certain files that I will place on the portal, a Word file, an Excel file. They will then work on the Excel file, save it, and then upload it into the LMS. So to do that, I'm going to use the file upload format. And I'm going to call this test 1. Again, it's a required test on my course plan. I have it scheduled for August 28th. And it'll be due by the close of the class at 9:10. And I want to show this date. If I wanted to accept late assignments, I could put that here. I don't. I don't want the actual test itself to be displayed now, so I'm going to set it to be displayed manually later. Uh, when I want to begin the exam in class, I'll go over and activate it by hitting Open Now and then saving it. But I do want the students to see it on the coursework page. Each of these smaller little mini exams will be weighted for 100 points. And again, I want the students to see it once the grade is available, that is, I've graded them, and the due date has passed. And again, I can show them the class average. I can leave a description here, and I'll say that this test covers learning objectives 1 and 2. You will So I'm giving them specific instructions. I'm telling them what the exam is going to cover, uh, telling them that they will need to upload a file uh, before they leave the classroom, and wanting them to be sure they have uploaded the correct file. So I'm going to add 2 files uh, to this, and these will be located on my uh, computer. This is the Word document. Make sure you click Add File. There is also another file that the students will need, and we'll give it the student file for exam or test, calling this test 1. And giving them instructions to save the file using their last name. All right, so be careful here. These are not in the coursework yet until you hit Save Your New Assignment. Once the students have taken the exam, you can go into the actual exam item and you'll see the list of students. For the MOS certification exam, I would manually enter the grades off of the report that I get from the vendor. I can quickly give them full credit, no credit, or then partial credit. And all of that data will feed to the grade book. So for example, if the first student scored uh, 450 out of 500, I would enter their grade and then hit save. And that student then reviewed their grade book. They would see their grade displayed here. We'll come back and talk about setting up the grade book in a later video. Uh, for now, that gives us the basics of setting up assignments in two of the formats, the basic format and the file upload format. We'll have a separate video for the online testing. Now that we've entered some assignments in, we can change or configure what the students see. To me, this screen looks very busy. Uh, I don't particularly find it useful for the students, so I want to change the configuration. To do that, I'm going to click on Configuration, and it defaults by grouping by unit, but I rather group it by type instead. So I'm going to go in and click Type instead. I also want to send an email to me, to my TCC email, when the students add a comment on the exam. This is very helpful when there are issues regarding maybe potential errors in the online grading process, or if a student requests a meeting or wants some clarification on a question on the exam. So I'm going to let the students comment on their assignments, and I also want to be notified when they do. So by clicking back to main screen, we can see here now that the screen is a lot cleaner. It's going to display just the types of assignments that I have, and the students will only see that. And if you click over to the student view, you can see what the students see. They'll see the MS certification. Again, there's nothing in that exam file that is confidential at this point. They can see that test 1 is going to be given on this date and due at that time, with the little description of the exam, but they cannot see the files that we uploaded that constitute the exam itself. In our next video, we'll look at setting up online testing, and then we'll look at the setup of the gradebook.